Hello, welcome to Zurich. Elspeth Graham, it's been lovely to have you with us here today. We're here celebrating the collaboration between CIPR and SPRI. This is the very first time that we're actually giving the diploma, the CIPR diploma, to our students. How did it all begin?
Well, we're doing more and more training around the world because the CIPR diploma is so well recognised. And I think it's very important. We were talking earlier about not regulating but uplifting standards of PR training. And I think if we can do more and more of this cross training where people are looking at what each other's doing and coming to the same standards from different bases, I think that's a really interesting way of going. For us, it's been really exciting to have this cooperation between the two organisations this year, and I really hope that it's going to continue in the future.
Well, we've been very pleased that so many of our students were interested, the people who had already won the federal diploma were interested in taking that extra bit of training to become part of the CIPR. And it's something that we've seen that there is actually also quite a different approach in London. And we've seen that the UK is a bit of a kind of a reference for the rest of the world for PR. Why do you think that is?
Probably it goes back to the old British Empire days. The UK is still really, the standards are still really, really well respected all over the world. And also, apart from the American Association, the CIPR is the biggest association in the world, or the second biggest in the world after the Americans. It's very active. We do a huge amount of training. Training is very important to us. And we get students coming even to our day courses from all over the world. And we're setting up offices in other parts of the world with institutes like yourselves to do this training. I also think that the students themselves are more mobile, and more and more of them are travelling. So you're getting this cross-pollination, and they're hearing about working in other countries, and they want to either be prepared or they've heard about it and they think, that's a good one to get involved with.
But, one of the things that surprised us about the exams that the people did is that out of 26 people, 23 chose to write about the challenges of social media in the PR world. Do you see that as being something that's going to completely change the face of the way we do our PR in future?
I think it already has. We find in London that if we're running a social media course, whether it's a breakfast briefing or a full day conference, it sells out every time. People are curious about it. Some people are frightened by it, so they come because they're frightened. Other people just think it's the best thing that's been invented, and they want to find more and more ways of incorporating it into their daily PR. And the other big challenge, of course, is how to measure it. There are very expensive, complicated ways of doing it, but really it's the same as our ordinary PR. It's input and output and outcomes. So, but it's certainly changed the face of PR in the last couple of years. It's quite interesting how reputation, not reputation the way we thought about reputation 10 years ago, but more when you look at what's happened with BP and various other big companies in the past year even. Reputation, what the bottom line has done, how PR people can get into the boardroom, and if not actually into the boardroom, certainly just outside the door, and be influencing how people make decisions and what decisions they make, and think about the implication of those decisions in PR terms, not just in money terms. And I think that's the big area that's coming up in the next 12 months or so. And I'd just like to say, for the students, it's most incredibly difficult we all know that PR people work 150 hours a week, and to study on top of that and possibly run a family as well is really, really shows commitment, and I think they really are to be applauded.
Thank you so much. I think that I will add to that they really have worked very hard, and we saw a lot of enthusiasm from the students, and I think this is a sign of the way things are going to continue. Yeah. So we look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.